All right, guys, I have a very special guest today. She is the daughter of my favorite baseball player of all time. She is one of the newest members of the Bally Sports broadcast team for the Cincinnati Reds. She's none other than Anna Sabo. How you doing, Anna?
It's actually Annie, but
Annie, daggone it,
yes,
Annie.
yes, Annie
Man,
Sabo. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Well, not so good. I messed your name up when we first started off here. Sorry, Annie. My
That's
bad.
all right.
So, have you had that happen a lot before? They say it wrong, or is it just me?
I hate to put you on the spot, but I
Yeah,
think it's
just
just
me.
you. But
I
then
figured.
again,
Yeah, I
people
figured.
sometimes get it mixed up with Amy, so
Yeah.
close enough.
Yeah, I figured it's just me. I mess up names a lot on here. I don't know why. Anyway, welcome back to the city of Cincinnati. Um, what I guess the best thing to do is to have you introduce yourself and talk about your career and how you got started in this and what brought you back to Cincinnati.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is year 7 doing this. I went to the University of Michigan, kind of following my dad. He is from Detroit, so I spent 4 years there. Had a great time there. And then, in local TV, probably radio is very similar. You got to start in a very small market. So I went to Corpus Christi, Texas for the first 2 years of my career. High school football was the biggest thing there. So that was super fun for me to cover. So I spent 2 years in Corpus Christi, South Texas, very hot. Then I went from there to Tampa, Florida, where I covered the Buccaneers, the Rays, and the Lightning for a couple of years. And then I finally cracked into the regional sports market, and I went to Minnesota. So moving
Ooh,
from
that's a
Tampa,
that's a
Florida to
change.
Minnesota was
Yeah,
was quite the change.
right.
But I spent 2 years there and covered the Timberwolves and the Twins. So that was just so much fun for me. And then this past fall, I traveled and did college football work with Big Ten Network. And now I am back here in my hometown of Cincinnati.
That is awesome. You're just a country traveler there, but that was a big change. From going from Florida to Minnesota and back to back years. That would be a quite an adjustment there weather wise. I would say.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely had to overhaul the wardrobe a little bit, from shorts and flip flops to parkas and heated vests and wool socks. It was
Exactly.
quite the adjustment, but Minnesota was a great place to work, and I still keep in contact with a lot of people who I worked with there, and it was a great 2 years.
Awesome, awesome. Now it's interesting that you said you followed your dad's footsteps and went to University of Michigan, and that some people down here in Ohio don't say the M with it. It's more of
Yeah.
like a Michigan is what how they pronounce it here. But how was that experience there as far as Michigan goes in your college experience there?
Loved it. Best experience ever. I will say though, I mean, I grew up here in Cincinnati. My sister went to Ohio State. One of my two sisters went to Ohio State. So we have that represented as well. But loved my time at Michigan, got really involved in broadcasting, especially my junior and my senior year in college, and worked for the football team and covered a lot of their games as well as the men's basketball team. So that was just so much fun. Have a lot of friends that I still keep in contact with at Michigan as well. We had some highlights. We had the men's basketball team going all the way to the national championship against Louisville 1 year. So that was super, super fun to cover. But overall, a great experience. I loved the University of Michigan. It was a great 4 years, and I definitely miss the college experience.
Right, right, exactly. Now, with being here a native Cincinnati, and like I said, I already told you your dad was one of my favorite players, so I have one of his bobbleheads here. I got a couple of them over there, and with the last name Sabo here in Cincinnati, Ohio, you would have to have gotten asked a million times. I would think, do you know Chris Sabo? Are you related to him or anything like that? So I guess my question is, what was it like? First of all, growing up as your dad being a major league baseball player, and just growing up as one of the favorite ones in Cincinnati, of all time.
I mean, to us, it was just, we called him dad. It was normal, everyday living, other than when we went to a Reds game or a Bengals game downtown. The Sabo chants were
Yep.
aplenty when we came down to Reds games and to Bengals games. But it was really a special experience, I'll say. I didn't really realize when I was younger how much my dad meant to this city of Cincinnati. And then you kind of grow up a little bit and realize how many people he impacted, the lives he impacted. And I had a lot of people come up to me on opening day this past week and say, I love baseball or I watch baseball now because of your dad. And my son or my daughter now wear the rec specs because of your dad. So they kind of thanked me for that. So to us, it was normal. Growing up, we call him dad. I mean, it is how it is. But I mean, when you go to a baseball game, yeah, you definitely realize how much he impacted the city and the Reds organization. So very lucky, very blessed to have him in my life. He's definitely helped me pursue this career, I'd say. And can't wait to see him soon. Haven't seen him in a couple months.
Oh wow, yeah. And that, like I said, he was my favorite player. I mean, in 1988 Rookie of the Year, and that the rec specs, the hustle, the haircut, everything. That's what that's what everyone always likes about your dad. And his famous saying for when they won the World Series is, "We got the ring, we got the money, we got everything. Thank you." Anyway, like I said, I'm a Chris Sabo geek. I think I have, when I was a kid, I have like every baseball card he ever had as a Cincinnati Red. So it broke my heart when we didn't resign him and he went off and moved on to Baltimore. Anyway, we're here to interview you, not your father. But I just want to just tell you that.
All right.
Yeah, I just want to tell you that he was one of my favorite players. Now let's move on to the current Reds team here, and unfortunately they lost their third straight game in a row last night. When we came out of Atlanta, I thought they looked pretty good. They were 2-2, split it with Atlanta, the World Series champs. I didn't think they looked too bad. Cleveland came in here and pretty much put it on them. And then last night they came back and tied it up and then gave it up again. And later on in the game to lose for their third straight loss. What's your feelings about the Reds coming into the season, and where do you think they are at right now?
Well, coming into the season, I felt like there were a lot of question marks, right? How the bullpen was going to come together, what the starting rotation was going to look like, what the offense was going to look like. And I agree with you in a sense that I was very pleased with how they played the first series in Atlanta. Obviously, Cleveland, you're right, really did put an offensive number up on the Reds in their 2-game series here. And then last night, things looked good until, the 8th inning. So as of right now, I truly just think that the bullpen is definitely something to keep an eye on. I still feel like David Bell is trying to figure out who fits best in the starting rotation and how the bullpen is kind of going to take shape throughout the course of the season. I feel like he's kind of putting guys in different positions in terms of, middle reliever and testing different closers out. I mean, yesterday we saw an opener.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the pitching staff for the most part is still kind of being worked on. They're trying to work out all the kinks and hopefully that comes together soon because the Reds tied the game again last night against the Dodgers and things were looking good until that 8th inning. So I think once the pitching staff, fully starting pitchers and as well as the relief corps, really takes shape and is more consistent in terms of, I know I'm coming in this inning, or we know this particular pitcher is going to come in this inning to face, right-handed or left-handed bats. I feel like that's when things are going to take shape. That's my long-winded answer to your question.
No, that's a good answer. I mean, it's pretty much kind of where I'm at because I'll be honest, I haven't been the most enthusiastic about the season, because of the lack of movement in the offseason and the players that have left. But I have said that I think this team, if the pitching is there and they stay healthy, has a chance to at least be 500. And with the new playoff format, if you're 500, you have a shot of at least getting into the playoffs. So will that happen? I don't know. And I do agree with you that they have to try to figure out the bullpen of who's coming in where, who's doing what, because that, to me, it helps guys out. If this is your role, this is what you're going to do. But that's typically not a David Bell thing. So I don't know if he'll actually fully get to a closer and a setup guy and all that stuff. But if we get guys close to the right role, that will help. Now, you get to cover the Reds every single day. And now I think you guys are allowed back in the dugout and everything. So we're somewhat back to normal, which is good. What is it like covering Joey Votto? Because he finally got on TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff, and he's blowing up, and he looks like he's having the time of his life. What is it like to cover Joey Votto?
It's kind of another life come full circle moment for me. My dad worked with him a lot in the early stages of his career when I was a lot younger, growing up here in Cincinnati. So to see him at the age he is at right now, still succeeding and still here in Cincinnati, really coming out of his shell and joining the TikToks and joining all the social media stuff. I mean, it's been a treat to watch. I find it hysterical. I have been told that he is working on a new TikTok. He
Ooh.
filmed something with Joe Burrow on opening day. That's what my inside sources are telling me. So I look forward to that video. But just a joy, a professional on and off the field, that's for sure. And just hoping he has another great season like he did last year.
Absolutely. Now, the funny thing, you bring it up that you said that Joey Votto and Joe Burrow are going to do a TikTok. I literally, when they when they were talking on the field the other day, I videoed them talking and I put it up on my TikTok with no sound. And I just kind of did like, hey, Joe. Hi, Joe. Nice to meet you, Joe. Hey, you want to do a TikTok? Is what I said on my TikTok. And now you're seeing they're going to do it. That is freaking hilarious. I just thought that cracked me up. But yeah, so it's full circle. That's really interesting. So you met Joey before you even got into any of this stuff. So did he remember you? Was it awkward now that you have to interview him and not just be, a friend, or is it how does that go on?
Well, I will say I haven't gotten to speak to him yet since
Okay.
I'm kind of doing the pre and post game
Right.
stuff. My area is kind of above the field for the
Right,
most part.
right.
So I haven't got to meet him in person yet, but I'm sure that'll be a interesting experience, and I'm sure he'll remember my dad. I don't know if I met him ever in person prior to leaving Cincinnati. I can't remember. I was so much younger.
I gotcha.
But can't wait to finally, go one-on-one with him, and I'm sure he'll remember my dad, and it'll be fun to get to talk to him.
Absolutely. Now, you were covering the Reds opening day yesterday, or excuse me, 3 days ago, and it was a little chilly. And by the way, you had I love the shoe game, the Jordans. They looked awesome. I really
Thank you.
appreciate this. I'm a big Jordan guy, big shoe guy, so I like that stuff. So growing up here in Cincinnati and now covering it, what is opening day mean to you? Because it's a very special day here in Cincinnati. What does it mean to Annie Sabo growing up here in Cincinnati and now be able to come back home and cover it?
Well, I think you don't realize how good we have it here in Cincinnati until you leave and then come back to cover it. I think I definitely took it for granted growing up here. We always left school and came down here to celebrate opening day. I just remember it always being a celebration. And this was before the banks were even a thing.
Right.
We used to come down to downtown Cincinnati and just kind of walk around the ballpark and eventually go in. And obviously my dad was a huge hit, so that was always fun. Going into opening day and then getting to cover it with the banks being at full capacity like it was on opening day, just getting to see that and see everyone dressed in their red and having a great time and everyone coming together to celebrate baseball in what I still believe is the best baseball town in this country was special. A day that I won't forget for a very long time. But I mean, everyone was just in such a good mood too. I mean, there were no negative feelings had by anyone anywhere. It was just an awesome experience getting to cover it for Bally Sports. And just want to reiterate that we have easily the best opening day celebrations across the country when it comes to Reds baseball.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I moved away for a couple years ago. My wife is from Florida, from Tampa Bay area.
Okay.
And that was right when the Rays were starting. So this was back in 98. I lived down there for 98 or 98, 99. Anyway, they had their opening of their season of their team, their franchise. And I'm like, wow, this sucks. I said, this is nothing. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, in Cincinnati, we have a parade and people take off work. I mean, it's a party.
Yeah.
I mean, this is nothing. And then that is again, that's before the banks. And I think the banks have been such a huge addition down there. It's a place now. They have the Dora district, so you can go down there and you can walk from bar to bar with your favorite drink or whatever, and just have fun. Everybody, and it's just a sea of red opening day. And that picture,
yeah, I mean, the banks, awesome. I walk around that area quite a bit. The restaurants, the drinks, I mean, just the people out there all the time. And on a day like today where it's sunny and about 65 degrees, just a perfect area. I mean, I can't say enough about the downtown area that's grown so much since I moved away and come back. It's just so much fun, and I'm enjoying my time back here in Cincinnati. That's for sure.
You look like it. I watched some of your TikToks, and I can see you're already picking on Sam McCure, which I think is great. I love Sam McCure because I think you had your Instagram on there the other day where you caught him putting the lotion on his legs or whatever. So that was hilarious.
Yeah, Sam, I will say I've worked with a lot of analysts, and Sam is by far the funniest one that I've worked with. He has a great personality, always positive, always happy, always down to, improve on the show or down to just have fun on live television all the time. So working with him has been a treat. And yeah, the lotion on the legs post show was something that I haven't seen before in my life. And so I had to get it on video because I was laughing hysterically.
I was laughing with you when you videoed it. He's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, ran away
He said he was going to get lotion because our hands were so dry. This was a couple weeks ago when it was just so cold and it was, sleeting rain. And I was like, I need some lotion for my hands too. And so he went to go get it. And then he's putting it all over his arms and his legs in the office. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Right, exactly.
It was an unreal experience, and just had to get it on video because it was too funny.
Oh, absolutely. You have a moment like that, you can't let it go by, especially this day and age. I mean, the camera is always on. So
always on.
Exactly. That's what I always try to tell my kids, like, the camera is always on. Back in thank God it wasn't like that when I was growing up back in the 80s and 90s, because who knows what the hell dumb crap I was doing back then that got on video.
You're always being watched, unfortunately, in this day and age.
Right, exactly. So you got you and Jim Day. What is Jim Day like? And are you going to be on his podcast sometime soon? Because Jim Day's podcast, it's a little bit bigger than mine. It's close, But are you going to be on his podcast anytime soon?
I hope so. I hope to, as John Sadak calls it. I hope to get a rose to appear on Jim Day's podcast. But he's hilarious. A guy that I grew up watching as a kid, growing up here in Cincinnati. He does some accents that he's very good at. Can do Sam's accent. It's some great stuff. So he's a good guy. Jim Day can. Yeah. Great accent guy.
Exactly.
But yeah, his podcast is great. He always does a great job. I mean, there's a reason why he's been here in Cincinnati and doing this for so long. He does a great job at what he does. But funny guy, nice, welcoming, and great podcast.
Yeah.
Jim Day.
Yeah. Exactly. I listen to it all the time, and you're welcome, Jim. I know you just got a plug from the Strawberry Ice podcast, so your numbers might go up now. Well, you brought up Sadak, and I last year he was his first year he was here, and I have thoroughly enjoyed him being a part of the team. I think he is another one who's freaking hilarious. His Star Wars fandom, I think, is unbelievable, and the way and just the stories and the way he brings stuff in and to the broadcast, I think he is really good at his job as well.
Oh yeah, he is. Most likely has a photographic memory. Unfortunately, I wish I had that too, because he is just phenomenal in the few games that I've gotten to watch him here and listen to him.
Right.
Unreal job. I mean, the man knows everything about the game of baseball, everything about the Reds, the way he is able to articulate a lot of the points he makes, phenomenal. And again, just can't say enough about how nice of a guy he is. He was telling me last week that his daughter picked out a puppy, so they're going to get a puppy either this week or the following week. I think they were going to get a golden doodle. So I was like, oh my gosh, the most exciting day ever as a kid. So he is great. I think he does an excellent job, and I really enjoy listening to him as well.
Exactly. Yeah, I love puppies, but I like other people's puppies. It's kind of like I love babies. I think they're cute, but I like other people's babies.
Yeah.
We already had our babies. Our babies are older now, so that's fine, because puppies are cute and cuddly and everything. But oh my God, they trying to get them to sleep at night and potty train them and all. Oh my goodness, I don't.
Yep, it's like it's baby land all over again.
Yes,
I have my dog here with me, but she's 2, so she's older now. But
what's your dog's name?
Potty training her in Minnesota was not very fun.
Oh, I bet it wasn't. What's your dog's name?
Funny enough, we named her Corona prior to the virus even starting. And so
Oh
my
my
husband and
goodness.
I decided to name her after a beer we thought would be funny. So we both
Right.
decided on Corona, and then the world ended. And everyone
Right.
asks me to this day if I name my dog after the virus. And my answer is no.
Right, exactly. What a name! But that's funny because my old neighbor, he has his dog was Jaeger for
Yeah.
Jägermeister.
See?
So yeah, it's not weird. It just happens to be the name of a world pandemic that we had. But it happens.
Right. Everyone always remembers her name. So they're like, oh, yeah, that's the girl who named their dog after the virus, even though I did not.
What is wrong with her? Oh my god!
I know.
Well, Annie, thank you very much for joining the show, and I apologize for messing your name up at first.
Don't
But
worry about it. It
tell,
happens.
yeah, I know. I had Chris Welch on here last year. I didn't say his name wrong, but I spelled it freaking wrong. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I end up messing Reds broadcasters' names up for some reason. I don't know. It's just a thing I got. Anyway, tell everybody where they can follow you at and whatever else you want to promote while you're on here before I let you go.
Yeah, sure. Both Annie Sabo on Twitter and Instagram, and that's pretty much all the social media stuff that I have. One's Annie_Sabo. The other one is similar. I don't even know. But basically, if you look up my name on Instagram and Twitter,
Right.
that's where you find
Exactly.
my stuff.
Yeah, go follow her because she's fun to follow on Instagram. That's for sure.
Thank you.
All right, Annie. Well, I enjoyed it, and we'll have to do this again. So thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
See ya.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.